So it's clear that adding narrative to our characters is a good idea, but how should we go about doing that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Remember that we have that default image of what a pirate looks like before we even draw it? Well, imagine that you have that default for just about everything. What do you picture when you think of an alien or a robot or even a refrigerator? Unless you've never heard of these things, chances are you're going to have an immediate image in your head of what they are. And unless we put some work in, that immediate image is going to be how your drawing looks. So how do we override this default? Well, if we look back to the drawing experiment, we can see that by creating new decisions before we even start drawing, we can override that image and create something new. And what is the best way to come up with new decisions about our character? Well, that's asking questions. This is where the versatility of this technique really comes to play, as you can ask any question of your character, and it's going to influence how it turns out. So let's say that I'm drawing a knight, and I ask myself, is he a good knight? No. Maybe he's really bad, and so I want to put a bunch of dents in his armor to show that he keeps getting hit. Well, why isn't he a good knight? Well, he just doesn't like to fight. So I might hint at that by putting a big peace sign on his shield or on his cape or something like that. If he doesn't like fighting, then how come he's still a knight? Well, maybe he's just really, really big. So you can see that kind of the further you go with this, the more developed and interesting and different your character becomes. What's great about this too is that it just makes the process of making a character that much more fun. You're asking questions, you're getting really invested in it, and you'll find that when you're really invested in your character, not only are you having a good time, but then the people who are going to see it are going to get invested in it too. So as I said, you can ask anything. And I encourage you to, really have a lot of fun with these questions. But if you're ever in doubt, just as with any storytelling practice, you can go back to the 5 W's. So, who? What is this character's name? How old are they? What is their job? Are they even human? Are they an animal? Are they a stranger from a distant land? What? What are they doing right now? What do they like? What do they dislike? What are their dreams? What are their fears? What drives them? So where? Where are they? Where were they? Where are they going to be? Where would they rather be? When? What time of day is it? What year is it? What's the season? Is it a holiday? And why? Why is the character in this situation? Why are they doing what they're doing? Why aren't they doing something else? And why do they fear what they fear? So if you're ever stuck, I've attached a PDF of great questions to ask in the resources section of this class that has these and many more. Start to think of character design as problem solving, where you create both the problem and the answer. Every time that you come up with a new decision about your character, it creates the problem of, okay, how am I going to get this across visually? So how will you illustrate that your character smells bad or is allergic to cats or likes spaghetti? This is kind of a really fun part about drawing, is that you get to come up with creative solutions for these problems. Maybe you decide that how you're going to show your character likes spaghetti is by making her hair out of spaghetti. Finally, you can continue to ask yourself questions while you're drawing. Personally, I found that the longer that I've drawn, the easier it's become for me to fall into autopilot as I'm doing so, especially when it's something that I draw all the time. So developing the habit of asking questions as you're creating a drawing is a really great way to kind of override that autopilot and keep yourself engaged and make every stroke of the pencil intentional.